What's up, guys? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks so much for being here, for being subscribed. If you're not, go ahead and hit that button. And if you're listening to this on YouTube, hit that like button while you're at it. It's like walking into the room and hitting that light switch. We just want to go ahead and brighten up the place. So let's get into this podversation. I'm going to play this clip of the panel from TGIF, which includes Funky Dineva, always known as, but birth name Quentin Latham, Al Reynolds, and Claudia Jordan. I thought this conversation was extremely thought-provoking, enlightening, and important because, one, you have the perspective of a female, natural-born female, a bisexual male, which is Al Reynolds, and a gay man, which is Quentin Latham, always known as Funky Dineva. Because listen, this conversation, this may not die anytime soon. And this is something that really needs to be discussed because with TS Madison, which I did a previous conversation about, her jumping into the chat to come at Jess Hilarious for her response to this transgender woman who made the comments that was made on a video. It was really taken in not a good way by a lot of women because it is extremely offensive and it is so much stuff. There is so much stuff that we who have been born female go through, especially right now, with so many things that are being affected, so many rights that are being taken. I mean, and we're just in the United States. There's just so much going on across the board. I'm grateful for where we are, and I know that things could be worse, but they definitely are not the best. They're not the best, and it could be better. But women as a whole get disrespected on so many levels across the world. And on different levels in different nations. I mean, I just read a story recently, a couple of weeks ago, that the Taliban in Afghanistan has ordered all beauty salons to be shut down. So women, they can't go and get beauty services done. And the women who were performing the services, they can no longer work. And that is something that as a woman, it's like you're taking a part of their life away from them. And it's like, I wanted to cry when I read that story. I know that that's not a transgender woman issue or whatever, but it's like, it seems that a transgender woman should be a bit more understanding and respectful of the gender they are trying to be or emulate, because we go through so much that we don't ask for and we're born into these bodies, right? And I'm quite sure that there are people who live in those countries that it's against the law to even be those things. You can't be a transgender woman. You can't be even gay. You know, like those things are against their Islamic laws. And I'm not saying that they don't feel that way and they don't want to act out in the ways that they feel. But a lot of them, they can't do it because it's against the law and they risk death. So it really is a privilege here that even though you may not be able to do a lot of the things that you want to do, but in the United States, it's definitely different. So it's really hard when you see another gender that wants to transform into what you were born to be, and you're being disrespected and called out for things that you shouldn't be called out for or being disrespected for, when ultimately men, if unfortunate situations happen where someone's life is taken that is a transgender woman, you hardly ever hear about a woman being on the other side of that weapon to make that situation happen. It's usually a man that has done that. So women, we're not your enemies, right? So I wanted to play this clip because I thought it was extremely interesting.
All right. Social media went into an uproar after a transgender woman expressed that it's transphobic to attach menstruation and womanhood only to biologically cis women. Check this out.
The arrogance for cis women to believe that they own periods, that they own womanhood. You don't. Okay, you don't own periods. You don't own womanhood. You experience both, and both are different for every person. But as a cis woman, it doesn't belong to you.
All right, what are your thoughts, Al?
I don't really have a lot of thought on this one, Claudia. I feel like I'm trying to learn and I'm trying to respect trans women, trans rights, trans men. But I'm disconnected on this. I'm going to have to pass to you because I really am not understanding the argument. I feel like the definition of a trans woman is a woman who was assigned male at birth, right? Like,
Yeah.
help me out, Q, somebody. I need help on this one. I just don't know.
Here, what are your thoughts?
I really can't help much, to be honest with you. And I really don't want no parts of this conversation. This week has been very tense in the tensions between cis women and trans women. And it was just very emotionally draining for me being on the fringe of what is going on and what is being said. It's a lot. And the sad part, or the only conclusion that I've been able to draw this weekend is that I think tempers and tempers on both sides of the aisle need to cool down for a moment. Now, if I have to speak directly to what this young lady is saying, they do own the rights to period, sweetie. And I don't even think that that's something that most women are bragging about. I saw Tammy Rivera put in the comments, girl, if y'all want to have periods, y'all can have them or whatever. If they own the rights to womanhood, that's debatable depending on your interpretation of womanhood. Do you believe it's an innate birth thing, or do you think the act of womanhood is a social construct? It depends on this is where the waters get muddy. For me, I'm just backing out of it. I'm gonna mind my gay African-American business because it really has nothing to do with me, and I am too exhausted trying to be in the mix of something that I ain't got a dog in the fight.
So isn't it ironic, before I continue, that the bisexual man and the gay man were both pretty much speechless for the most part when it comes to this? And you heard Al Reynolds say, like, I could be wrong, like, but isn't a transgender woman someone who was, he used the words assigned male at birth. I don't like the term assigned because to me, I feel like it's like saying a baby that was born with a penis, the doctor just looks at the baby and says, I'm going to assign this baby as female. We know that does not happen. So I don't like, this is me. So I'm sharing my opinion, being beautifully honest. And I'm not here to offend anyone, but I'm saying no one is assigned a gender at birth. You're born what you are born. So if you are born with a vagina, you are born a female. If you are born with a penis, you are born a male. No doctor is looking at a baby with a penis and saying, okay, we're assigning this baby a female, or we're going to look at this baby that's born with a vagina, and the doctor and the nurses are going to say, okay, this baby was born with a vagina, but we are allowing you as the parents or parent to decide which gender would you like to assign this baby? Would you like to assign it male or female? And the parents say, oh, even though it was born with a vagina, we're going to assign this baby a male. And then that's the gender it's given. That's bullshit. And excuse my language, but you're born what you're born. No one is assigning a gender at birth. So this new term, assign male at birth, assign female at birth, that's not right. And I'm just standing on the truth. You're born what you're born. And not many, but there actually are some children that are born hermaphrodites. That's when you're born with both organs. And I'm not saying they're both perfectly formed, but there have been stories where a child was born with both genitalia and they just gave the parents the decision on which one they wanted to go with at birth. And as the child grows up, then they're figuring out, oh crap, the child is more like a female, but we allowed it to be male, when they should have just waited and allowed nature to take its course as the child grows to figure out what it's more prone to be. But those are not the norms. Those are the abnorms, the abnormalities. And it's not to say any negative things about them. It's a birth defect when that happens. It's, unfortunate, but it's almost like someone born with a cleft palate. It's not the norm, it's an abnormality. So I just wanted to jump in there and state that, because I really found it ironic that the two people that are in the community both are like, I don't want no parts of this, but I'm still not really sure if I agree with what this person said. And even Funky Dineva said, well, yeah, women, females, they do own periods, sweetie, because they are the only ones that have them. And it's not even like it's something that they are carrying the torch around, celebrating like it's the Olympics. So anyway, I just thought it was interesting, and I just wanted to jump in there. Let me know your thoughts about what they had to say, but I'm going to go ahead and continue.
I was listening. I was in some Twitter spaces. I was reading as many comments as I could. I was trying to look at all the videos. Of course, I'm a friend of TS Madison's. I don't know this other transgender woman that was speaking. I did see a comment and a breakdown from Hope Giselle. Hope and I have had some conversations because there was some issues back in the day, and she was educating me in my DMs, and we got into it, but then it ended up being calm. And what I did to offer a solution was, look, don't fault me for not knowing all the lingo. Y'all don't even know the lingo. It's still developing. I invited 3 transgender women on my show in Dallas, a very conservative state, and we gave them a voice for 4 hours. And it was amazing on both sides. Hope you blocked me. I guess you don't like some of my takes. That's fine. I'm going to give you your props. I think you verbalize it better than anyone I've seen online. She said, you know what? As a transgender woman, I can't speak on that. We don't have periods. We don't have uteruses. And you got to let natural born women have that. Cisgender, however she referred to us. And I appreciated that. I don't want my period either. This shit is annoying. And it's just, I feel like at this point we're splitting hairs. We're getting to a point where everyone's just getting so angry at things that we don't need to get angry at, because it's kind of ridiculous. You're a transgender woman. You are not the same as a natural born woman. And that's why we say the word transgender before it. TS Madison and I had many conversations about this, and I loved our conversations. She said, I know who I am and what I am. I've taken from here and there, and this is how I feel. But she goes, I know I'll never be a woman in the, a natural born woman, or whatever the word was used. It's so confusing where woman's offensive now. How the fuck did the term woman get offensive? Why can't we define it anymore? It's getting weird around here, y'all. It's getting weird. And it's getting to a point where it makes women like me be afraid to voice my real feelings about things, because how people want to just jump on every single word, and you can't even have a real honest conversation anymore. And I'm sick of it. I will say this, transgender women, we as Black women, I think I must say this one thing. I feel some of us feel like a little betrayed by what this particular one said, not all. Because like I said, I love what Hope Giselle said. I love what T.S. Madison said. Because I feel like we've been the most supportive, right? And it's just like, why are we fighting with each other? Like we should not be fighting. We should actually be on the same side. And I don't like where it's going. But I do. The only thing I can speak of is we do own it, and it's nothing to want. Trust me, it's nothing to want. And we are all learning and trying to be respectful. But in our journey of us being respectful to the trans community, please give some back. It should be mutual, you guys. And it has not been mutual the last few days. It has been horrible. I've been hating what I've been seeing online from both sides, honestly. From both sides. It's been fucked up. And while the men, are sitting by, watching, and like, look at these motherfuckers fighting. We told y'all not to accept them. And black women are like, no, but I've seen so many different fights and arguments, and it's been terrible. But you don't own periods. You don't own motherhood. You don't own that. Periods, I understand what the argument is that trans men have periods still that are not taking enough the hormones that make their periods stop. So I get that argument. So they should be included. But why are we fighting about periods? Go ahead, Q. You want to say something else?
Yeah, I was going to say, well, two things. I think it would be worth it one day if we dedicated an entire show to this, have a professor of gender studies on, have trans people on, maybe even me and Al back out of the conversation, have another woman on, because this is a hot button topic that's going on right now. Right? But there was a question, and I'm approaching this from the way I deal with these racist people sometimes. I try to live in a space where I always protect my mental peace. And the question that I have for you, Claudia, and a lot of black women out there who are so upset, I would just be curious to know, when you really sit down and you analyze what you're upset about, I'm just curious to know what you're truly upset about, because when it's all said and done, and I may be wrong, I don't think you guys have lost any rights, any liberties. I don't think that your life, your day-to-day life, has changed in any way that's tangible or quantifiable by this discourse. I may be wrong, but I don't think on a day-to-day basis, y'all are running into issues with dicks in your bathroom. I don't think any of y'all have gone to the gynecologist and anybody has referred to your thing as a bonus hole. I don't think that a lot of these things that we're getting so upset about are actually happening on a day-to-day basis. And I don't know, hence why I'm asking.
It's actually kind of what you said, right? It's kind of ironic. It's men mansplaining to women how we should feel. Mm-hmm. You're telling us we haven't lost anything. You don't know that.
I'm asking.
I'm
asking.
I remember when I was on a reality show with KJ, I had several, when people were mad at something I said, I had several trans women in my thing telling me they're going to take my man from me and now I could fuck him better than you. Now, that is not a reflection on the entire community. And I don't actually think I'm losing anything from a transgender woman. I happen to actually love I have a couple of transgender women that are my friends. I love them for them. I hate to do this with race, but I think it's the only way I can try to make people feel how some women might be feeling, okay? And I know I'm going to get dragged for this, so I'm going in. I'm not going to look at my comments the next few days. When Rachel Dolezal came along and did her whole blackfish thing, did the whole thing and pretended to be a black, she felt that she was a black woman, right? And she moved in those spaces. Did I want her job? No, I didn't want her job. I didn't want anything she had. But it was irritating, right? So it irritated a lot of black women. Black people were like, how dare you? You don't know how it really feels. You can put the braids in and color your skin and do the surface, the superficial things, but you're not a black woman. I think it's a little bit similar, although I'm not comparing the history of black people with trans. Please get that out of y'all's mind, not you guys. But please know that I'm not minimizing. I'm not doing that. But it kind of feels like that. That's the best way I can explain it. You know what I mean? And it's like, when we speak on it, we have transgender women, which were born male, telling us to shut, like, no, you don't have it right. And you don't own this, and you don't own the women experience. And it feels like you're still biological male telling us how we should feel. Let us vent. Let us feel. We are seeing our rights being, I think the timing also, it also coincides, I know we're going late. It coincides with us losing rights with abortion, losing rights with this, losing rights with that. And then on top of all of that, we have the saucy Santanas telling us we learned womanhood from y'all. We have men that I don't think he's not transgender, telling us about what we started. And it's frustrating because we're also torn because a lot of us have love. A lot of the transgender women are our sons, our daughters, our sisters, you know what I mean? So it's like a very complicated thing where we're like, I feel, no, but I love her. I don't want you guys to be mean to her and you toxic men to be mean to them. But can we find that happy medium where we're allowed to feel a way and not told to shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're doing and what you're feeling, and you don't own womanhood. It's unbelievable how it feels. And I don't know if I'm doing a good job of vocalizing this, because I didn't put anything aside. I wasn't really I didn't prepare a speech. I'm just speaking from the heart, y'all. If I could, that's the closest thing I can say to how it may feel for some women. I don't know.
No,
go ahead and tear me a new one.
No, that helped me understand it. The comparison you drew did help me understand, but we got to go to commercial.
All right, so you heard what they had to say. And listen, Claudia Jordan, she spoke a lot of truth. She spoke what a lot of women feel. And I really love the comparison that she gave to natural-born women and trans women, and how a lot of trans women make natural women feel. And the Rachel Dolezal, we know the transracial, which was a new thing, and black, not even just black women, but black people, period, where she just wanted to take the good parts she felt of being a black woman and live in it and say that that's what she is. And it's like, no, girl, you're not. And she's living her life in the wigs and the weaves and the braids and the spray tans, the darker makeup, staying out in the sun a little bit longer, and living as if she is a black woman, but not ultimately ever being that. And I'm not saying that they are equally the same, a trans woman and a transracial, but she spoke on that, and I thought it was interesting, and I really love that she brought that up. But yeah, like I was saying, when Funky Dineva said, well, I don't think that trans women are really taking anything from you. We're not here to say that we feel that we're threatened by them or they're taking anything from us, except respect. And we don't need any more disrespect, because we're already receiving that on so many levels. And then when a conversation comes up, like, even if you don't want to call it a conversation, but a post is made and then a response to that post is made, and then the person who responds to the post gets attacked, meaning Jess Hilarious, she spoke what a lot of women do feel, that they may say or they may not say. They may not feel like they have a voice. They may just be uncomfortable with it or not okay with it, but they don't have a voice to speak it, and they don't speak it and they don't say it. And it's not that Jess Hilarious is trying to attack that person, but just basically speaking truth. And the way she is responded to is to get attacked and say, well, you look like a man or you look like a trans woman, so you should be more understanding of what trans women go through. And it's like, no, it's not the same thing. And especially a darker skinned black woman being equated to a man is nothing new, but it's, again, more disrespect. Because you already have this community of males, I won't call them men, but this community of males on social media, the manosphere and the black manosphere, that really just attack mainly, women, and the black manosphere attacking black women, when a lot of them are just insecure B words that are not in a real healthy relationship. Because if they were, I'm here to tell you, the men that are, they're not a part of those communities at all. They're not. And it's a sad situation, but I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. But I really love the conversation that they had. But yeah, I really found it interesting that with them speaking out on it, even those who are in that community are like, I don't really want to have any parts of this. So you guys let me know what you think about this in the comment section. Thank you so much for being here, for liking and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until the next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.